on this very, very wonderful train to understand just exactly one thing. And that one thing is lost conversations in families here in India, both rural as well as urban, considering the fact that over 60% of families in urban India is a nuclear family and over 50% in rural India is also nuclear. So why aren't families sitting together and talking anymore? And to understand that better, I have a very, very special panel. I'm going to introduce them one by one. First up, we have actor Boman Irani, needs no introduction. Filmmaker Meghna Gulzar, needs no introduction. Ad veteran and author Anuja Chauhan, needs no introduction. And of course, Mr. Shivakumar, Chairman PepsiCo India, again needs no introduction. Four wonderful people who need no introduction. So I'm just going to get straight to it and start with Boman over here. Boman, tell us, what was it like growing up, in a Parsi family and having conversations when you were a family member, and right now you're a family head in your own
Don't rub it in by saying Parsi family. You know it must have been a traumatic childhood. That's not fair. But like a good gentleman and also a clever gentleman, I said first you should ask the lady the question.
All right. So let's just start with this with the lady then. Please tell us, what was it like growing up in a in a family home? What were conversations like when you were a child, and how you see that change now that you're a family head in your own right?
Ironically enough, I grew up in a joint family.
Okay.
My mother had her parents, so I had my grandparents, her two brothers,
Okay.
their wives, their children, and we all lived together. So meal times happened in phases,
Okay.
and conversations were, according to generations. So when the grandparents and mom sat, it was a different conversation about the price of fish was too much today.
Okay.
Then when the mama sat, the conversation was about cricket, perhaps.
Okay.
And then when the younger kids, when we sat, it was about, which movie is going to come on Sunday on Doordarshan and are we going to get to watch it. So it was very, very different.
And now you're a family head. You've got boys at home. So tell me, what is it like?
Now it's, Samay, get off the iPad and answer my question.
Okay.
It's like that.
Okay. Since we're going to do ladies first, I'm going to go to Anuja first up as well. Talk to us. Tell us, what was it like? What were family conversations like when you were a child? And how do you see that change now that you're the head of a family?
I think we used to have a lot of these double bed conversations. Like everybody would just sit around in a double bed and there would be chai and people would just chat, and there was a sense of timelessness to the whole
Can I
thing.
interrupt? That double bed reminds me. I'm so sorry, but that was my honeymoon. Now I don't know about you. That was a double bed conversation for 14
So you
days.
see, it was a much more innocent time. I think that's what we proved here.
Okay, in an innocent time, what was it like? Tell us.
Well, I was the youngest of four sisters, right? So a lot of it was about all the boys who were admirers of my sisters, and I'd just be sitting there and hearing all that kind of stuff, and it was pretty typical, yeah. It was moms and dads were separate conversations, and we kids used to talk separately, and the conversation with the parents was slightly one way. It was
They
like
spoke and
they
you heard.
spoke and you heard, and then you went away, and in your little group you had your little bhadas nikalna.
There was a lot that you couldn't say in front of your elders, which I don't think is the case anymore.
But still, we used to talk lots more together as family then.
We
than
did,
now.
we did. But I think the barriers, or say the psychological barriers, perhaps, the children are more reserved in front of grown-ups. That's become less, I think, which is a good thing. There is a lot more openness between parents and children, between generations now.
Once they get off their iPads, you mean?
Once they get off their iPads, yes.
Now, is it the same for you?
No, now what it is that my family bonding is all happening on a WhatsApp group.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think
Why am I
everybody
not
has that,
surprised?
right?
Why am I not
It's
surprised?
everyone. So we have Chauhan Khandan, and I'm sure everyone has their own little versions of whatever they're called. And that's where everyone talks, and people come in from all over the country and other parts of the world, and the conversation unfolds there. So there is that. It's sweet, but it's of course not a double
So
bed.
family conversation happens once the kids get off the iPad. Family conversation happens on the phone, on WhatsApp. Fantastic. Shivakumar, I'm going to come to you on that note. I have a fair idea as to what it is to have family conversations in a Tambram family, considering I grew up in one. You tell me, what was it like and what's it like now that you're a CEO?
I think, most families of the past, let's say 20, 25 years ago, were very strong entities, extremely resilient, extremely supportive, especially of children. I think the whole definition of a family was we are collective, but our interests are to make the children better than where we were. I think that would be the start point. And I think the pecking order was very clear in most families. Dad was dad, mom was this thing. If you needed to tell dad anything, you told it via mom. You never talked to dad. Okay, that was normal. I think typical conversations would always be around what's happening in the family, what's happening with politics, what's happening in sport. because what's happening in movies. Because remember, till '84 there was no television, till 2006 there was no mobile phone.
Yeah.
So that whole decade was all about the family coming together over topics which all four could relate to. I think that was the difference. Today, if you ask anybody in the family, okay, Anuja, how are you doing? They'll say, look, how are you doing in studies? No, can we talk about something else now? I'm not in the mood to talk about it. Those were not conversations you had 20 years ago.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
answered every question you were asked. Today, you can skip any question you are asked.
Pass ho sakta hai. It's like a quiz competition. Boman, so now, finally, your turn.
Yeah.
You tell how crazy was it back then and how crazy is it now?
As a kid, I was a very quiet child. I never spoke too much. I had a speech defect.
This is
so-
getting recorded, right?
Yeah.
Boman Irani was a quiet child.
Yeah, yeah, believe it or not. I was Meghna doesn't quite believe. I was a very, very quiet child till I was in 7th standard. And then, I do believe that, I don't think that, technology really interferes with a family, or the lack of technology makes the family stronger. I think if there's love in the family, there's love in the family.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't make any difference, whatever the new technology may be, even if we become one of those holograms. If we
Boman
become
is skipping
holograms.
ahead. Boman is skipping
No,
ahead.
I'm just
asking
saying,
you what
happened with in my childhood, but we did have I'll tell you what I find different now. We don't go for picnics anymore.
Yeah.
The one with the table with
The chadar
the
or
chadar
chatai.
And a
and
basket.
a basket. Yeah, we're having one right now. Yeah, please tilt down, Baba. Kuch sikhana padta hai tumko, yeah. And what we never stopped on the highway, off the highway, put a little Coke bottle up. Sorry, I'm really sorry. Put a pop bottle under the bonnet, level the bonnet up, and took out omelets and pav. Or which were cooked at home in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. We all help cutting the onions. Usually, Parsi poras, they are called poras. Parsi, red bread. And we never stopped and had our chai on the bonnet. We stopped doing that, and I think that these memories for me are very, very special. So we've replaced those memories, which I'm jumping forward again. We replaced those memories, but we were in many ways loud Italian, Greek, Irani family. We were loud, noisy. People had to shout over each other. People had to be the funniest. If you cracked a joke, I had to be funnier than you. Yeah, and so on and so forth. But the central thing of this all is that it doesn't matter. If there is love, there will be unity of some
How
sort.
is it now?
Well, now it's more or less the same.
You still do the omelette puffs in the morning?
We did it till we did it, in fact, last year.
Oh.
I said, no, let's do this. Let's not go into a mall kind of atmosphere. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's okay for a quick in and out. But let's stop. Let's take our own slices of bread. Let's take our own napkins. Let's take our own, whatever else. And I enjoy that.
In the old days, just listening to Boman as well as Meghna, everything was a single task. You sat down for breakfast or lunch or dinner, picnic, everything was single task. Now almost everything for every family is multitask. People are sitting at their table, but they're doing 3 things while they're listening to you. You're on a picnic, but people are on 4 different things while they're, with you. So it's a completely different
I was going to arrive that. Lifestyle, I mean, I know it's a very vague term, or the style in which we lead life these days has changed drastically from what it was. The amount of time available for an individual person is squished in, probably because, number of private jobs are more, there's no government jobs, there's no like 9 to 5 exactly, people are working 12 hours a day, to recreate, packing food and going to picnics or going to Powai Lakes, there is obviously a time crunch that is a problem, would you say? The change in the lifestyle that is...
Well, like you said, I mean, if it's gone from a joint family to a nuclear family, a lot of the functions of the family, which used to be divided over 15 people, is now being handled by 2 or 3. Plus, we also have a lot of the double income families where both, the spouses are working. Which is why there's so much more that needs to be done in the same amount of time, especially for a woman, because just because she's out working doesn't free her from the chores at home. She has to do the double duty, so which is why multitasking comes in.
Over 60% of urban families are nuclear and over 50% of rural families in India have become nuclear. That is a staggering number for rural India. you know, all those problems we were talking about 30, 40 years ago was when everybody stayed together. It made it rather simple to get together and have family conversations or do anything family together. Collectivism was the scheme of things because you were happy, you're comfortable. It was a very safe zone to be in. Right now, the safe zone to be in is you and your phone. So, you know, the fact that the way families live has changed is crucial to the fact that they don't come together anymore also, right?
I would also say that I think in a world which, you know, there's so much more material stuff available today. So let's take the old family. The father was the chief wage earner, okay, the man. Classically, the mom was a housewife. Today, many mothers are homemakers. They're not housewives anymore. You know, they are supplementing income because they want a better life for tomorrow for themselves and their children. So now, in a world where things are moving at a very different clock speed, then each person has see that anchor which was there before, where the mom, I think, was the great anchor. In some cases, it still is even today. But each person has his or her own goal and things to reach for. And I think that definitely puts a little bit of stress on the family.
Yeah, because right now mom has an expectation from the boss at work and from the family here at home, and it's not all that easy anymore. Once upon a time, she could absorb all the pressure because she didn't have the boss to report to. But right now, most moms report to a boss. That makes it difficult, no, Boman? To go back to the days and just love is good enough?
I don't agree.
No?
It's still good enough even today.
No, I
Okay.
really don't agree.
Yeah.
You know, and I really liked what you said. I made a joke out of it about the double bed. And I think, you know, the family finally feels complete when all of us fit on the double bed.
Yeah.
So, and they, one of my son has this habit of flying across everybody and landing in the middle. I think it's great.
Yeah.
And I encourage people to land up, including the dogs and, you know.
Yeah, the entire family.
Yeah. And I think even if you spend 15 minutes like that, then you can do what the hell you want. Then technology can take over and what else. And I'll tell you one other thing, my daughter and my son, my daughter-in-law and my son want to come back and live with us. Yeah, we love it. It's so entertaining. You know.
But Boman, every family can't have a Boman Irani all over.
I am
joint families.
last. The rest of the family is hugely entertaining.
Okay.
Yeah, hugely. I am quiet. I'm the butt of the jokes most of the time. It's great. It's great.
This is still getting recorded, right?
Yeah.
It's good. But the reason why we're discussing this whole love is all that, you know, is enough. I mean, love existed before, love exists now. You know, probably it gets enlarged on Facebook and social media accounts more than it actually exists in real life. That's why I'm trying to get back to where have we gone from? The fact that we're sitting here on this train having this conversation about lost family conversation.
I'm a little uncomfortable by making it all about the fact that the mother's working now and so families are
same here. I
That's
agree.
like a bit.
They're not disintegrating.
I mean, that's like
Yeah.
No, I think also.
Yeah, it
you
looks
know,
like the mothers to blame. Why are you working? Why are you answerable to the boss?
Yeah.
No, I think a big part also.
Sorry. I was just taking off from Shivakumar's point. I had no intention. The reason why I'm saying is that like what he was talking about is everybody had a particular role to play. The father went out and got the money for the family, and the mother was a secretary, treasury head of the family, and she ran the whole thing. And then, you know.
But it's still the same. At least in my family, even though I work, it's still the same. I mean, I will be making a film and I will be ordering the groceries and ordering the vegetables in the house. My husband is not going to do it.
That's very difficult, right?
What kind of a husband do you have? I order the groceries.
He's not going to do it. My point is, I think also a lot of the fragmentation of a family, especially in rural sectors, could have also happened because our economic infrastructure is so skewed. It is all present in the cities. So if you want to move up, you have aspirations, which is absolutely valid to have. You need to move out.
And same happens for urban families as well, because the kids want to go abroad to study, or the kids want to go somewhere else.
Exactly.
So I think
So it's not a measure of the love decreasing in the family. You give me the same infrastructure in my village, I will not go to the city.
True.
Partly with that, sorry, is that what you said? Is that people are speaking different languages. So literally, in some places, grandmothers are speaking whatever they spoke, like they're speaking Hindi, and they have grandkids who only speak English.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Then technology itself is a different language. Now, if my grandmom knew how to figure out Snapchat and she'd have a streak with her granddaughter and they keep it alive every day, right?
Yeah.
They don't know that language. So love bhi hai, intention bhi hai, but sometimes you cannot pull it together because the worlds are so different and the lingo is so different, and you can't negotiate that. It's like when I'm in town, I tell my friends, let's meet, yeah, we'll hook up, and my children are saying, don't say hook up. Don't you know what it means? I'm like, no, sorry. So it's
Those
also
mom
that.
to son texts are legendary, right? Like it goes around in
Oh
Facebook.
my,
and
you
everything.
want a text from mom legend? I mean, my mother just got her mobile phone.
Huh.
And I'm embarrassing my whole family on this program.
Yes,
Really.
man.
And she didn't know that a space button existed when she was sending her
just
first
pressed it.
SMS.
Oh, okay.
So her entire message,
Was one
the whole
word.
sentence was one word.
Supercalifragilistic.
You know, and I loved it so much. Just the fact that sitting next to her and telling her how to navigate that mobile phone was beautiful for me.
So then let's talk solutions then.
Yeah.
So I see 4 people over here who managed to make sure that these conversations are not lost. That Boman has made sure there's enough love in the family. You know, Meghna.
We fight and all. Isi baat nahi hai. People make
yeah.
a perfect family. We go and that's part of the fun.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that these conversations are not lost in your families at least. What do you think needs to be done? I know.
I think both of them touched on it. I think in any family, I think you need to have more and more conversations for really some kind of a glue to happen. You cannot have electronic relationships anymore. I think the old face-to-face, the old bonding, etc. needs to happen. I also think, you look at boys and girls today, look at the new generation families, okay? The boy does a lot of the load at home. That's very different from what it was in the past.
The boy, there's a lot of?
The load
Shares the workload
shares the
at
workload
home.
Like what Procter has
Apparently.
just done with their advertising is a great example of share the load in terms of even laundry. Okay, women are getting married later than before, so they're more financially independent than ever before. That's a fundamental shift. And despite all these changes in technology, there are some deep-rooted values which people still want. Like for example, Taj did this wedding barometer in 2013. 75% of all Indians still want an arranged marriage. Even today, 75% of all Indians.
It's very interesting
Or
statistic.
even people, when they fall in love, they want the parents to accept and turn it into an arranged marriage.
They want their parents' approval.
Absolutely. So there are many values which even the young people who are changing dramatically are carrying forward. There is no substitute to conversations in my book. You have to have those conversations if you really want, what you're talking about.
Yeah. Let's talk things out. Never hurt anybody.
Yeah, I don't think they're lost. Actually, they may have kind of thinned out a little bit because of
Can I
various
add to
reasons.
that?
Sure.
I don't think they are lost. I agree with her.
Yeah.
There are people who would have been the same 25 years ago,
Yeah.
and we're blaming it on technology probably.
Correct.
It's possible.
Possible.
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah.
Possible.
Does anybody else in the
Yeah.
crowd wanna
On that
talk?
note, I'm just going to bring. Yeah. All right. So we do have an audience query on that. You want to add to what Boman is saying?
No, I want to ask a question to Shiv.
Please go ahead. Please
I
go ahead.
really liked the example that he gave
Okay.
on going to movie in a car together.
Okay.
It really touched my heart. The question I want to ask is, he has climbed the corporate ladder.
Huh.
Do the time you spend with the family is inversely proportional to the work that you do when you go beyond the grades in the corporate world?
Okay. So as you move up the corporate ladder, does it affect the amount of conversations you have with your family and the opposite? That's the question that's coming
That's
up.
true. I think there are periods. It's not just a professional. Whether you're in a private sector or a public sector, or you're an actor or you're a writer. I think there will be periods of intense activity when
Very
things shut
true.
out. That is true.
Yeah.
Okay, you
Very
just
true.
have to bring
Correct.
yourself back when you
Yeah.
don't have periods of intense activity.
Correct.
I think that's what you need to figure out.
It's
for
about being
yourself.
aware that
Yeah.
you have, this much time that has been taken away that you need to now replenish.
Yeah.
If you have that awareness, that's actually, I think, a
But
very...
I think the rough point is that when there is a will, there is a way. You have to
Absolutely.
will it and then do enough to make sure no matter how much success you get in your career, you make sure you take time out. Okay, that's one way of... Anybody else over here wants to ask a question? Anybody there? All right, there's a question over there. All right, you have a question?
My question is for Boman sir. You are a celebrity. Can you spend a quality time outside with the people over there with your families?
That's exactly what you said. It makes no difference. There are times and long periods where I'm out of the house, maybe a couple of months at a time. But I think that eventually I'm hurtling towards one thought, that when will be that time that I will be able to spend time and take the family and go somewhere, even if it is for a couple of weeks. But I work very, very hard towards that time, and that time has to be cherished and enjoyed sans technology. Very, very important. That I make very strong rules. I am not a big rule maker. I tweeted this the other day. I'm not a big rule maker. But there's one rule I'm very proud about. That when we sit together, no technology around. You can say what the hell you want, but just have conversations. So the celebrity, the corporate world, filmmaker, everybody is very, very busy. Everybody is, but the periods that you have to work towards is that quality time that you spend at home with your family. We are big reminiscers.
Oh yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
Now let's go day one. On that day, what did we know? Which was?
Aren't we all? Aren't all families?
Big reminiscence.
It's so much easier to pull out old photographs now.
Who was the tour guide on day one? Greg Barrymore. That's the one. Very good. You remember? And we do this all the time because we cherish what you've done, and which means that you're going to cherish what you're going to look forward to. It's not just what you've experienced. And to me, I'm a big reminiscent, big speech maker. Okay, ting 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 ting. I'm a big speech. I think that helps and allows people to express themselves. If people may not have a conversation, sometimes just express yourself on a birthday or on a general dinner, or we've gone out somewhere for a general dinner. Something has to be said by someone. I don't know why. It sounds officious and all.
So Boman's tips to get the family to
But we
come
fight.
together.
It's not a perfect family.
Yeah. Which
I don't think
family
any family is perfect,
no.
but making speeches helps for sure.
It does.
Expressing
Yeah,
actually helps, because a lot of times we take each other for granted as a family, na?
True.
Ki the husband will know that I love him because I make sure that his house is running properly, but it doesn't take anything to just say it.
Yeah.
Expressing.
The strain of saying that technology divides families is not true. I can give you many examples from my previous role in terms of how technology is seen by parents and families as secure and good. For example, 10 years ago, if a girl went out for a party, people would say, where are you going? What time will you be back? What's the phone number of that house? Today, the same parents ask, are you carrying your mobile phone? That's all. Next, when they send a WhatsApp message, when they see the double tick, they know that the girl or the boy is safe. There are many elements of technology which actually are giving peace to the family.
Yep.
Correct.
No, don't doubt it. I think this one-way track of technology divides is
Blaming
not true.
technology.
No.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah, I think we've completely agreed to the fact that I don't think any reason, be it blaming technology or changes in lifestyle, actually makes sense. And I think the rough agreement amongst all five of us is that when there's a will, there's a way. It needs to be done from the parents to children.
Yeah, it was not
from
like
the
there
families.
were no divorces 25 years ago. No?
Yeah.
My
But certainly
wife's
the number of
name-
divorce, the
sorry.
divorce rate has gone up for sure. You would agree
But
with
there were, but maybe there was no divorce, but maybe people separated.
True,
It's
true,
about
true.
how much we
These
recorded
statistics.
Or
actually.
just stop speaking in
Yeah,
that situation. But I
exactly.
think the onus is totally on the parents. I mean, I think you can't expect children to come and say, let's bond as a family. I doubt that'll happen.
Yeah.
So it is from parents down, and very much it's what you do rather than what you say, because we say a lot of things, but children always listen, only do what you do. They don't do what you say. So that comes from the parents. And also I think we should embrace technology. Even older people, even my mother or my grandmother, and okay, Dadiji is on Facebook, it's a big thing. And use that instead of blaming that to divide.
Yeah, when we are out on vacation, I love FaceTiming with my mom or my dad who are not traveling with us, because we miss them and they want to see us having a good time. So wherever we are, if we are going to an amusement park or an aquarium or something, we'll FaceTime and say, my son will say, Nanu, look here, this is what I'm seeing.
Wow.
If technology can be an enabler for so many things in the world, it can be an enabler for families to come together as well. And as Shiva was just talking about, it actually makes it safer for families to stay together, for their kids to go out and come
Completely
back.
agree with you. My wife's name on my son's mobile is a joke. We made him change it. But his name in the direction is, where have you reached?
All right, on that note, I'm just going to close this discussion, this wonderful discussion. Shiv, Anuja, Meghna, Boman, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and insights. For all those of you watching, all you need is love, and love is all you need.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.